quote Gandhi, an eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind.
Bringing it home with Gandhi. Never a bad idea.
I asked him for help with all these bills, and his response was he wasn't falling for it without a complete investigation. He had his chance, and he flunked. I don't care what he decides. I never had a dad, I never did, and I'm a freaking fool for even meeting him today. I like being around you. You're my girl. Well, at least till I'm gone.
But you can call me every day from school.
Once I'm gone for good. Never looking back.
But you gotta look back.
Why?
Because I'm back there. That's where I'll be.
Okay. I'll call.
You dropped this.
I didn't drop anything.
Sure you did.
So, what are you doing?
This weekend?
Yeah. No. I mean, yes.
No plans so far.
So if I picked you up Saturday, say around
8 p.m. 120 East 9th Street, Buzz Fame.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We've got a big day ahead of us, Lady Gaga. You've got to decide which dancer will be your upcoming star for your new music video. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm just, going with the flow of life right now.
Hell yeah, same here. It's been a wild couple weeks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All good stuff, though. I mean, we have the film out in 65 countries, and so that came out July 24th overseas, and then I hopped back into my own acting career. So yeah, I'm excited because I haven't really done much for myself in 8 years. So yeah, that feels good. And then I went for a film today for A.V. Kaufman.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
How is it being? I'm wondering if I should probably introduce you first and then ask you these questions, but sometimes I should just flow with it. How is it being? And there's my 57-year-old brain that went, no, I'm not going to remember it. How is it being away from it and then coming back to it?
It's good. It's really good because I got the other perspective or the other side. And so now I have a different perspective from producing and directing and casting that really helps my own work. And then I had, a lot of personal stuff happen in my own life. So I realize, as an actor, I think it's easy to get caught up and feel the pressure. But you're really lucky to be there, and it's just, you're lucky to be like 1% of the project, if that. So really just knowing all that goes into it, and that sometimes it really does just come down to matching a family or certain eye color. Really takes the pressure off of yourself. It's like you're still doing a good job, and you're still you're okay. I think that's something like you wish you could tell your younger self things, and I think there's so many fragile actors out there,
Right?
that, because they're empathetic and sensitive, and like you have to be in touch with, have availability to all the emotions, that it's hard not to feel, it's hard to do all that type of work and then not feel sensitive and
Right.
overly emotional and caught up like with all the rejection that does exist.
How do you protect yourself from that?
I think, you know, like I just said, the just knowing the perspective of directing and producing, and that it really can come down to just um, a character match, you know, matching a family, eye color, like just,
Yeah.
and sometimes just the subtlety, and like there's so many good performers. Um, and sometimes it's just about what works for that particular piece, and like the essence that someone has, like their sensibility. um
It's so funny that you said your younger self, and I'm going, what do you mean your younger self? Aren't you like 20 something? It's you have this youthful glow.
yeah, I've been doing this since I'm 6 years old. My mom was a single mom, and she took us to free theater, and all different things. We thought we were the richest kids on the block.
Yeah.
So a testament to how strong and determined she was. But so I remember turning to her and saying, like, we were at a theater show, and it was just such an escape from what we were going through. And I looked at her during intermission and said, "That's what I want to do one day, and I'm going to buy you a gold house."
I love that. What movie? What show were you watching? You remember?
God, I was so young. I think it was like Peter Pan or something like that.
No, that was my first movie
Oh, nice.
in a theater.
Yeah.
I saw it too. That's interesting.
Yeah, and they had people flying across, and you know, like as a kid, you're just like, wow, how's all this happening? What's going on? So it was really exciting. And like I said, just an escape. It took you into a whole different world, which was like really important for me during that time.
Right. When's your birthday? What month?
March 14th, the Pisces.
Okay. January 23rd.
Is that still Capricorn? Oh, okay. So
yeah,
Capricorn.
Right on the edge of Capricorn, Aquarius. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, my mom was a Capricorn.
Okay. My brother's a Capricorn.
Yeah, there's some really great qualities there, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting how you were talking about, you know, life, and you step away from certain things that you think you were meant to do, or for a certain amount of time, and then life happens. Mm-hmm. It's interesting how those certain things in life, like 7 years ago, having a heart attack out of the blue, you know, and it was just one of my inheritance, so to say, but knock wood, I'm still here.
Yeah, my grandfather had his first triple bypass at 33.
What?
Mm-hmm. My mom was super health conscious, and he came from 15 brothers and sisters. 3 of them died when they were really young babies. So yeah, just heart health was always something she was conscious about, and eating right. So yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just inherited. Like you naturally, like I've naturally had to watch my cholesterol no matter what I do. I mean, I was a vegetarian for 8 years and still had high cholesterol, not eating red meat or cheeses and things like that. So yeah, it's really, the body's just, it's a funny thing. It's so different for everybody.
Right. And sometimes you have low cholesterol and you still have issues, you know, so it doesn't always match up. You know, it's interesting because when I see your picture, or when I have talked to you in person, via Zoom, that is, you have this sense of a sort of a peacefulness. And the word that comes to my mind is love. And that is the festival that you created, correct? You created Love Wins Film Festival.
I did, yeah. The Love Wins Productions, Distribution, and Film Festival. And I did that twofold, because I've done a lot of work on myself through being an actor and just certain things in my life and watching my mom and her strength and determination. So when it all kind of boiled down, it was like love wins. It just, even though no matter how hard things can feel or get, even as an actor, things just boil down to love. Like in a script, you're always, no matter how evil a person is, they're motivated by love. It's because they're so in love with somebody or something. There's that passion behind it that love becomes hate. It's a really, but you have to love to hate. And just wrapping my head around concepts like that and certain situations that I've been in. So the more grounding work that I've done through acting, through anything that I enjoy, that kind of lesson kept coming up. And then as an actor making my way in Los Angeles, moving from New York, I learned a lot about, I think that Los Angeles for me, and I think for a lot of people that I speak to, is a lesson in your own ego. Because I kind of came out there and I was coming from New York and I'm like, I have the best training and I have the best this and the best that. And then the business can knock you on your butt, and it's really good though. It's really healthy if you take it in a way that makes you look at yourself and makes you do some things differently. So yeah, I also, just as a filmmaker, I was encouraged from James Franco's company, Studio 4 Playhouse West. I was going to school there probably 8-9 years ago now, and they encouraged us to make our own work, and they helped produce my first project and were motivated me to start my own production company, which was at that point Jaret Martino Productions.
Yeah.
Still very much in my ego.
But that's okay.
But it wasn't a full business venture for me. I wasn't thinking of it. It was really solely like, hey, I can can I do this? It was kind of a test, and for myself. And my first project was about women's empowerment, and it was a group of artists that just were making their way, and it's called Driven. And we followed all different women, all different ages, and we partnered with Step Up, which is a nonprofit organization. And it just kind of spiraled from there. One project turned into the next. And
what made you have that for the subject?
It was just it was interesting to me. And I always, even before the whole Hollywood crash in terms of Harvey Weinstein and everything else that has gone down, my focus was always women's empowerment, because prior to even me thinking about making a film about my mom's life, she was just such an important piece of my heart and my motivation. Like everything that I do, I always thought about making her proud. So it just, so Driven just encompassed like everything, my belief system and what I wanted to put out in the world, what was important to me. So yeah, just one, and then it just kind of became subjects that deserve attention, creating awareness for all different subjects. We've made a bullying awareness film that is based on a 13-year-old girl's true story. And I watched all these brave people just share their real stories. And I think as an actor, it was like a part of my acting, why I dove into it as a kid, was that escape. So it was a chance for me to become somebody else and have this, like, get to live and express emotions that I might not.
Right.
Typically. So yeah, watching all these people share their heart pretty much was just so brave. I thought what I was doing as an actor, being on set, that was always looked at as as brave and going on auditions, but watching people that survived from cancer or got into tragic accidents or all these really heavy things, that they turned that pain into a positive.
Now, I mean, you worked on jobs on a, like, connected with Lady Gaga and Usher. You were on like The Middle. How was that, working on that and then transitioning to what you do now?
You know, those, well, first of all, Usher is an amazing person. I mean, he's super grounded and really welcoming. I mean, it's one of the warmest sets I've ever been on. It was when Usher and Lady Gaga were working together. It was like a world tour. So it was exciting, you know, it was very exciting to be with that caliber of talent. And I think what I took away from any experience like that is the higher you climb, in a way, you have more of a responsibility. And I think the people like that, they continue to work. I mean, and what I like to believe is that, you know, they're just really nice people, and they give their heart, and they operate knowing, shedding their ego and getting to know that they have a responsibility to the world through their art, and then using their voice for change and for what they believe in. I think that's so important. Anyone who has a platform, a certain amount of attention, to utilize that to change the world. I mean, that's why we're all here, you know.
Do you think you've always had this kind of heart, or did you grow into it?
I did, you know, but I think the world can scare you. So I think I lost that for a bit, or not lost it. I never lost it. I don't want to put that out there, but I got hardened in certain ways, and you turn to your ego for kind of like this facade of peace. And then that burns out. For some people, it takes a lifetime. For me, I wanted to live. I'm a truth seeker, so I definitely wanted to live authentically and just cut out the BS, you know.
Right.
Just get to the heart of things, you know, and be surrounded by things and people that matter.
I have to say, you're getting to your film festival again for a second. Honey Bunny, a film that I produced that I was putting out there. Of course, there's all these hundreds and it feels like thousands of film festivals out there. And out of all of them, you know, there were certain ones where I said, oh, I have to go there because it's the so-and-so film festival, or, oh yeah, we have to submit to this one. But I came across Love Wins, and it went right here. And I went, okay, out of all the ones, this is the one that I want to go submit to, not because I feel like I have to, or because it's this, that, and the other. It so fits Honey Bunny because it's such a love story. So by submitting to that and then getting into it and then, you know, winning, it gave so much, I guess the word is love. It filled not just me up, but it also filled Blair, who is one of the subject matters, and it went beyond that. It went into the stratosphere. So thank you for creating that Love Wins, because it's pretty like out there. It says what it is.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, definitely I wanted to carve out something different. You know, my idols are people like Ava DuVernay at Array, where she's really taking every piece of herself and putting it into the productions and the distribution. And she doesn't have a festival, but the way they come together, and I've been to those events, and it all has ripple effects. And I think she's someone who really understands that, and the way that she can touch the world. And so I modeled my company the same way, and it's geared towards women's empowerment and LGBTQIA messages and diversity and inclusion. So, that it always makes me, my motivating factor is exactly what you just said, like creating those ripple effects, touching lives, and just being something different for the industry that offers something tangible. I think that as a filmmaker, it was like we were in hundreds of festivals, and laurel after laurel, and it's great, and it definitely taught me a lot. And not taking anything away from that experience, but I wanted to give something else to filmmakers for them to actually have a platform to after the festival where they can stream on the Love Wins distribution streaming site, once their festival run is over. And we're also looking into adding a dozen award winners a year for features, and becoming more in the mainstream in terms of giving actual distribution to iTunes and Apple and Amazon and all the major streaming channels. So yeah, it was really like, the motivation was, of course, the heart, and really projects that align with our mission.
Right.
And then on the business end, that it provides something tangible that people can feel good about and possibly make some of their budget back. That's a big part of the work. My goal, my personal goal, is to, even if the budget isn't made back fully, like the opportunity for a short film to make at least something back. I mean, it's just unheard of,
Right.
for the most part. And then setting up filmmakers with partnerships too. That's a big part of the work. If it is a message that has a nonprofit that exists, like for Donna Stronger Than Pretty, we're partners with the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. With Driven, we were partners with Step Up. With The Worst Day of My Life, we're partners with CAPS, which is a bullying awareness and prevention nonprofit. And then we actually just created our own nonprofit called Awareness Media.
Wow.
So that's tied into the Love Wins Film Festival. And, we'll do more and more work each year, is the plan of giving back and providing a space.
Yeah, it keeps on coming back to my head that, sometimes we do things and we're wondering, oh, okay. I right when we connected, I said, oh, I would love to interview you. And not just because the interview and getting to know you more and all the work that you've done, but it just came back to me during this interview, just in the last 10 minutes, when you said too how it was, Jaret Martino Productions. And I used to have DSZ Productions with David Shea Zimmerman, but then I shifted, and I sort of questioned it a little later. And by talking to you now, it made me feel like, oh, okay, I'm in the right track. So you're a teacher in a way, because now I have Next Breath Productions, because we all take a next breath, or we don't, or it's what we do with that breath. And I got that from studying with Corey Allen, who was one of my mentors, even though I know, don't say mentor, but.
That's beautiful. I mean, yeah, just I think anytime that we can recognize like where we started, it's such a growth process. I mean, I feel like really that's what life is about, just growing. We're here to learn. I feel like it's a very transitional, Earth in general is just a transitional space for us to have conversation and have all that life is about. And
now you've done producing, directing, acting, creating. Do you have a favorite?
Acting. Yeah. Acting's definitely the first and foremost. It was definitely put on the back burner for a while. My mom really sacrificed so much for me to be an actor and to support me in following my dreams and producing and directing. I'm great at it and I'm proud of the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the other side of your brain, and I really and I can go there. It's a hell of a lot of work. Not that acting isn't, but it's nice to be the talent sometimes and not have to think about 3 million things. Just to show up and be creative
Right.
is just such a joy, and I have more of an appreciation for it now with the experience of everything that I've accomplished over the past 8 years. So yeah, I would say, I'm not saying I'm never going to produce again or direct, but I did lose my mom September 3rd of 2020
I'm sorry.
to pancreatic cancer. So I feel her wanting me to, acting is like, for me, I'm such a workaholic. So acting is my break. That is my outlet. That is my chance to express. And I feel her supporting that from the other side. So I'd like to use it as like part of my grief process, my own personal healing.
Yeah.
So, and I deserve a break because
Yeah.
I've really I've done so much the past 8 years. So it's my 24th project at this point.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Do you? It's interesting. Do you believe in the signs? Have you had any signs?
So many. Mhm.
Yeah.
So many. I mean, the butterfly is on my mother's poster, Donna, Stronger Than Pretty. And every time I talk to my mom out loud, a butterfly shows up.
Really?
And yeah, there's been so many signs that really have helped remind me and made me feel her presence and guide me. Just today, I had an audition for the A.V. Kaufman film, and um, in the scene, I don't know if I should be saying this actually.
Oh,
It's probably copyright. It's copyright information.
right.
Anyway, there was just something that was so significant, and I was able to. I'm like, how do I tell this story without telling?
After the movie's out, when you're in it, you get the Oscar.
Exactly, right. But yeah, it was just so. It was just so. My mom was right there, and she showed me.
Yeah.
In this object, and it wasn't until I got home and I looked at the object, and it came full circle.
You were coming from that real place.
Yeah, I find like the more like silent I get, the more time I take for myself and getting back to acting. I feel like my mom's definitely in support of that. Because it's nurturing myself, and I think that's really ultimately what her film is about. It's about self-love and how important, like I was talking to a friend earlier about how important like filling up your own cup is in this life, because we could spend all this time, and nowadays there's so many things to care about and so many things to comment about that it's easy to get distracted and like not address your own shit, not face yourself, where just it creates a society that can run and mask and all that stuff, and that catches up with you after a while.